Recording. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Team Call. Today is the day before Easter, April 15th, 2017. We have my very dear friend, my sister, my soul sister, my bosom buddy, Alexis. It's been a hot minute since we've swapped a team call. Like, everybody knows you, but it's been a while. So Alexis and I had brunch last week, and she was kind of filling me in on this really simple, but like sort of, it's got like some new tweaks and some stuff that's new, like of how she's kind of taking people. Hold up, I got it.
Mute all.
Somebody is crackling. How she sort of takes people, like finds some new people, like basically the whole system. She's sort of refined this process of no Facebook ads, no nothing, no crazy, just like the work and finding new, awesome, amazing people. So without further ado, I'm going to let her get into it. Will you just give us, just because there might be some new people that don't know you, will you give us a snippet of your story and then how we met and to have awesome success partners? Okay.
Oh. Hi, guys. I'm so excited. I love Saturday morning calls. I do them for my team every once in a while just to change it up. And it's just so fun to have our warm coffee. And so my story, oh man, I wasn't prepared for that. No, that's okay. It's kind of long, but I'll just shorten it. Basically, I was in an outside sales job and I was getting paid $18,000 a year. And just, going through the motions and working a lot of hours. I was overweight because I was on the road all the time. I was eating fast food. The whole shebang. I was drowning in debt. I could barely pay my bills off of, the money that I was making and, just kind of your typical before picture. And so I saw a friend always posting about Shakeology on her page and I reached out to her because I thought maybe it would be a good option for when I was on the road traveling. So I signed up and I actually did sign up as a coach right off the bat because she said, you might want to do this down the road. You never know. I did have fitness background, but I got completely away from that when I was in my sales job. I stopped working out. I gained a bunch of weight and was completely removed from it. So I remember being like, no, I am not going to coach, but whatever, I'll do it for the discount. So I signed up. I started drinking Shakeology to take with me every day on the road. And it was a complete game changer. I mean, I just started feeling better. I lost a bunch of weight. I was doing X3, which I love. It's still one of my favorite programs. I should go back to it. And I just started feeling really good. And so organically, I was sharing my story on social media and people started reaching out. So I had this crazy thing happen in my job. So I had been working really hard to land some large accounts because all of my income was based on commission. And I needed to make more money and I was very driven by that and I was young. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. So I, within 7 months, landed the 2 biggest accounts that this company had ever had. They had been trying to get both of them for 17 years and they were both $1 million+ accounts. And so it was life changing, the biggest thing ever, my biggest point in my career. And 30 days after I did that, I got pulled into the office with the owner and they let me go. I was laid off. So now looking back, and there's a way more extensive version of that story, way more emotional. Usually I cry when I tell it, but so that was my kind of point where I drew my line in the sand. I mean, I had a company car, a company phone. Everything was taken away from me. I had nothing. And so that was when I was like, you know what? I'm going to dive in and try this Beachbody thing. And I did. I dove in and I never looked back and I worked really hard. And
you guys, she works really hard. None of it, don't sugarcoat, I don't think we do that on our teams, but don't pretend like she just 4 years later makes 6 figures and didn't do anything.
I mean, I think sometimes people forget that it really just comes down to hustle and hard work. And I think in the network, we've kind of gotten away from that because a lot of people had success. I had success. I went elite, 6-star elite in 15 or 18 months. I always forget. And so I had a lot of really fast success. And so then it's really easy to get removed from talking about the hard work and the hustle, and instead just saying, oh, I, make six figures and I'm here now. And, what are you going to do to get here? So anyways, I've had some ups and downs in my coaching journey. And last year was definitely a rough year for me in my business, but not because of any other reason than I just wasn't working hard enough. I let off the gas. I went into micromanagement mode with my coaches. I got away from doing the things that I loved, like running awesome challenge groups. And it affected my business. It affected, my rank. It affected my income. So I guess what I want to say is that I've had success. I've also had a lot of failures in this business, but it's never given me any reason to stop or to not keep trying, or to not course correct and try to figure things out. So this was kind of how the Fab Five, that's what I call it, was born, because I got to a point at the beginning of this year where I was like, okay, I need to figure my ish out, and I need to be doing something that is productive every single day, that is moving my business forward. And I need to stop focusing on my team and my coaches and, micromanaging and all that icky stuff that I didn't want to do anyways, but I just was doing it because I felt like I was trying to hold all the pieces together. So I knew it came down to the daily activities. I mean, my favorite book is The Compound Effect. And it all comes down to those daily activities that you do every single day, those boring, not sexy things that, are really easy to skip. So I have been making it a goal this year to just focus on these activities. So I'm going to teach you guys those steps and kind of how I find people, how I invite them, and stuff like that. So it's called Fab Five. So it's 5 steps to follow in your business. And these are, to me, I call them IPAs on my team, income producing activities. If you do these 5 things every day, I mean, I would be shocked within 6 months you weren't seeing results. But I mean, I say 6 months seriously, because that's the compound effect. It takes time to do these things every day. And this is what I noticed with a lot of people is, they'll start following a system like this, and within 30 days, they're not feeling like it's producing results, so they'll stop. But you guys, 30 days isn't enough time to know if something's working. It's just not. In fact, I'm not sure that 90 days even is. I think that you really, really have to commit and say, I'm going to be here in 6 months, or I'm going to be here in 1 year, and I'm going to do these things every day until I'm blue in the face. And then let's make sure that, at that point, I'm getting some sort of results. If I'm not, maybe tweak a few things. But so, okay, so step number 1 is add. So that's adding to your network. And I work on the side with, oh shoot. Am I freezing? Oh, weird. My computer just did something weird. But so I work on the side with Josh Coates. I don't know if you guys know who Josh Coates is, but he's a freaking insane rock star. And he always says that this should be the 5th vital behavior, is adding to your network. So, and I love that, because it really should. It's something that a lot of people just forget about, or they do it, but they don't do it with intention. And so what happens is your network is growing so slow over time that you're not feeling momentum. You're not having new eyes on your content. You're not talking to new people all the time. And so it gets like annoying and boring and sometimes discouraging, because you're like, dude, I freaking see the same 20 people in my newsfeed every day. So sorry, can you guys hear Matt? He's doing pull-ups like right next to me.
He's fierce. He's killing it.
It's so sexy. So adding to your network. So this is a big piece of what I have changed in my process. And it was really, I was talking to, I'm sure you guys know Raina Odell. I was talking to her, and she was like, asking me, because I was trying to fix some things in my process. And she's like, who are you adding every day to your network? And I'm like, honestly, I just go and I just add people. Like, I go to people you may know, or I'll go to like my girlfriend's friends list that aren't Beachbody coaches, and I'll add them. And she was like, okay, that's great, but how do you know that those people are part of your avatar? Those are people that you're really looking for. And I was like, like it was kind of hit in the gut. Like, God, that's such a good point. And she was like, okay, so she's like, here's what I do. So this is coming from a top 10 coach, peeps. So she goes into groups on Facebook. Now, everybody's heard this before, and it's probably like, oh, duh, I've heard this. I've been trained on this. But it's going to kind of all tie together. So just give me a minute. So what I recommend doing, and you don't have to do it right now, but definitely when we get off the call, is find like 5 hats that you wear. And write those things down. And you're going to try to find Facebook groups that pertain to this, but really get specific. I mean, and I don't mean clearly one of your hats is that you're a health and fitness coach and that you like to work out and eat healthy. Try to steer away from that because that's clear. And what I have found is all of the Facebook groups that are in, that have that some sort of topic, they're saturated with coaches. So you just don't really want to go there. So I really recommend thinking, what is it that makes you you? And so for me, I'll give you just so you can start to think of some ideas. I'm in one of my favorite groups that I'm in is Mountain Chicks of Colorado. And so it's basically people local to me that live in Colorado and that they like to go hiking. And it's chicks, and they're probably, I would say, between 25 and 45. So it's a great age group for me. It's people that love to hike. And it's so funny. I start adding these people and I'm like, oh my God, they're all my tribe. They're all adding like beautiful photos with quotes. And like, it's so like what I love. So that was really cool group that I found. So then what I do when I get in the group is I go to the members list and I kind of scroll through it and I look for people that look like me. Now I know that sounds kind of weird because it's like, well, what do you mean? What are they, I mean, anybody that is my age, that's a woman, maybe they have a dog in their profile picture with them. I'm a dog mom. Maybe they're standing on the top of the mountain. I would love a picture like that. So I add them. Maybe they're, in a wedding dress. So maybe they just recently got, married. I'm trying to just think maybe, and if you want, you could go to their page and check it out. The thing is, you don't want to overthink this process. But, don't be afraid to go over to their page. If they're, like for me, if there's somebody that's like sharing negative shit on their page, I just won't add them because I'm like, I'm not interested. Like I like positive people. I wasn't always positive though, but I wasn't like posting stupid stuff on my page. You know what I mean? So I try to like find the fine line. Like there's a difference between like you're having a rough time in your life and you're just a really negative person, right? So other groups that I'm in, Bernie's Mountain Dogs of Colorado. So I have a Bernie's Mountain Dog, Josie. If you follow me on Snapchat, you're probably so sick of seeing her because I'm like obsessed. Newly engaged groups. I'm in a couple of those. What else? Some other ideas like Raina, one of her big ones is she's in an ulcerative colitis group because she's been suffering from UC. So she's in a group where she's talking to people in there. It could be people that are really obsessed with the same TV show or the same author. There's Harry Potter books, groups. There's, Walking Dead groups. Just really think of like what lights you up. Like if somebody came up to you in a coffee shop and was like, hey, do you watch Walking Dead? And if you were like, oh my God, let's sit down and talk about it. Like that's a group you should be in because that's something that makes you excited and lights you up. So you're being a part of these Facebook groups. You're going to the members list and you're adding these people every day. Okay. You also, can be engaging in the groups as well. That's definitely an extra piece of it. I haven't even really been that active in the groups that I'm in. I'm kind of doing all the work behind the scenes. So just having conversations.
That's a good point because sometimes people spend hours and hours and hours trying to engage inside the group when it's like you could build that relationship still build the relationship, but build it outside of the group.
100%, and every once in a while, like somebody will post, like I shared Josie's birthday party in the Bernie's Mountain Dogs of Colorado group and everybody was like dying. Like it was, oh my God, this is hilarious. You had a birthday party for your dog. But like that's like it. Or somebody will ask like, I'm really nerdy about like nutrition and stuff. So, and if anybody asks about what kind of food they feed their dog, I like to share my opinion because I think people feed their dogs crappy food, so there's just different types of things that I will engage in. But yeah, like Julia said, don't spend your whole days doing that. I mean, it's not worth your time. So then what I do is after they accept my friend request, I'm going to send them a message. So this is step 2 called connect. And connect has multiple pieces to it. So I will send them a message and thank them for accepting my friend request. And I will, just spark a conversation like, hey, I saw you. And I'm telling you, I've never had this much success with connections. I always hated hey girl messages because I always felt like I was like beating around the bush, or I didn't know what to talk about, or it just felt weird or awkward. I am telling you, every freaking time I message these people, I'm getting responses back because I have common ground with them. I can ask, like, I'll say, oh my God, I saw you're in the the Mountain Chicks of Colorado group. Like, I'd love to find new friends to go hiking with. That's it. And they're always like, oh my God, no way, girl. And then I'm like, what do you do? And then we just start talking and we make friends, and it's so fun. So connect is building that relationship. So you're going to send them a message after they accept your friend request. Now, what I do, I don't know what everybody does for tracking system wise. As soon as they reply back to that, hey girl, then I'll enter them into my Asana, or if you have Streak, or if you just use pen and paper or whatever, that's when I start to use them as a contact. Because there are going to be people that just may not respond to you. So I wouldn't start tracking them until they at least come back and respond. Okay, so now I'm building a relationship with them. I'm forming them, connecting with them, that type of thing. And one thing that I feel is important to bring up is I'm not trying to sell them something. I'm not building a relationship with them in mind thinking, oh my God, I just need to make sure that this is the perfect conversation and I sell them something. I don't like that. I never have. What I do like is the more I can become friends with them, the much easier it is to invite them, in a week or two down the road. So that's kind of how this all comes together.
Do you feel like you screen them a little? Like you're kind of seeing who like you'd actually want to work with? Like you can
100%.
Okay.
Yes. And there are times where I'll be having a conversation and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I won't come back to them, but I really do try to feel it out and make it as organic as possible. So, and what I'm doing in Asana then is when I add them, I set it out for 1 week so that it's going to ping me 1 week from the day that I put them in. And then I just am assessing the situation when it comes. So that week comes up and I'll sit down to do my power hour and it'll say, check on, Julie. And then I'll go in there and see where our conversation's at, and maybe I'll spark some more conversation up, or maybe I'll just go ahead and invite them if I felt like it was going good. So I don't think 1 week out is too early to invite if you've been having a good conversation. But if you're not feeling it, whatever, that's fine. Okay, but there's another piece to this that's going to help. So connecting is first sending those hey girl messages and forming and building those relationships. Part 2 is engaging on their social media. And this makes a huge difference. So, and I'm going to show you a really cool way to do it. So, I think what people forget about, or may not even know, is that the algorithm is based off of what you want to see. They want you to see what you want to see based off of who you're engaging with and who you're talking to. So one, if you're having conversations behind the scenes, those people are going to start seeing your content more, which is great because that's what you want. Those are the people you're forming. Then if you're commenting and liking on their stuff, they're also going to start seeing your content more. So it's really kind of awesome that the algorithm works that way, because it's like great for business owners if you have intention, right? So what I do, and my assistant does this for me, but you could easily do this if you're not at a point where you have an assistant. I mean, it takes, sometimes I'm like, I don't know that I even need to be outsourcing it because it takes like seconds. I'm going to share my screen, show you guys here. Okay, you guys see my screen? Okay, so what's really awesome is when you're adding friends all day, you kind of lose track of them. And I always was like, how do people remember and know and blah, blah, blah. So there's a section called recently added when you go to friends. Okay. So these are all the people that I've recently added. I think it's within like the last maybe week or two. So when you hover over, you can click this spot here that says add to another list. And, I will add her to April new friends. Okay. So I have lists they're based off of month. and they're April new friends. So I'm literally just doing it right now. Add to another list, April new friends. So like I said, every couple days, my assistant, well, she's supposed to go in and do this. I see she hasn't done this. So adding, so you can see, and I just started doing it in January. So you can see January, February, March, April, February. Yeah, I don't know what this March, April friends thing is. I think maybe my assistant might have done that or something. So April new friends. So then that's where you're adding all your new people at the same time that you're having these conversations behind the scenes. Then if you go on the left side here, it says friend lists. Click that. And then here are all of my lists. So I go to April new friends, and it makes a news feed for me of just those people. So now I can go through, take a couple minutes every day and go through and interact with all of my new friends that I've made in the last couple days. So, and I will be honest, like, I definitely, okay, so like here I go. This is something that I love because I think that's really cool. I definitely don't just like everything. I like stuff that is actually interesting to me, So if there's something that like annoys me or like I think is weird, I'm not going to like it just because I want them to see my content, like again, there's definitely some organic.
Being able to scroll just on your prospects is like brilliant because sometimes we do that, like we use it as an activity for our business. Like I'm going to go like and comment on people's things, but it just is a mess and it has no purpose. And so this kind of scrolling, and how long do you usually spend doing that? Not like a ton of time, right?
I would say, and I know this is terrible because you're not supposed to lay in bed with your phone, but sometimes at the end of the night before I go to bed, I'll do it for like 10 minutes. Now I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but I do also make it a part of so like I love this. Like, yes. Hi. I would say no more than like maybe 15 minutes. I mean, it doesn't take long. Yeah. Especially because like so this is the March one. And like there's 73 people in here, and I will come back to the March and I'll go back through and do some old ones every once in a while just to kind of keep it going. But I mean, yeah, it takes like minutes to do it. So, so that is a really cool piece of connecting. Just because like I said, all of the pieces start to work together and you just feel like you're being intentional and you have purpose in your activity. Okay, so then step 3 is share. So sharing is obviously clear, you're just sharing content on your page, but I take it a step further and I say, share content that's specific to the people that you're adding. So if I'm adding people in this, Mountain Chicks of Colorado group, I want to make sure I'm posting about hiking because I'm adding people who are interested in hiking. If I'm adding people that are in Bernie's Mountain Dogs of Colorado, I want to make sure I'm posting about my dog because that's something that is going to interest them and they're going to want to engage in as well. So, yes, post your normal stuff that you would normally post, but I think it's so important. We get so used to posting our sweaty selfies and posting our shake and and it's like, okay, not everybody really wants to see that. I mean, everybody in the coaching community likes that because that's what, and I get that you have to post for accountability. Don't get me wrong. I still will post on my page just to hold myself accountable, but and I can't remember who said it. I think it was Zach Spuckler. He spoke at Josh Coates' live event and he was like, dude, like that's really not relatable that you're good at showing up every day. Like, why don't you tell people that like you almost, wanted to push play 10 minutes in and walk away because you were feeling, or I think we just need to get better at being more relatable in our content because it's so easy for us to be like, did my workout today, drank my shake today, did my workout today, drink, and it's like, it just gets so repetitive. And most people are probably watching thinking, well, geez, I wish I was like Julia and could show up for my workout every day.
I just posted about that because people say that. They're like, I see your post and then it makes me feel like crap. And I'm like, oh no, like.
Right. And
but that's what we do every day because we're just like, I'm working out. And we look like show-offs and it's annoying.
It is totally. And I think at times it's probably inspiring, but it's inspiring. It's not getting them to take action, really digging deep and saying like, I almost freaking puked or I almost pushed pause, or I did push pause, or I could only get through 15 minutes and I had to stop. I mean, whatever it is, because we all know what goes on behind the scenes, right? And it's really that like we have to peel back those layers and say, look, people, this is who I really am. And that's so much more relatable for people. So, so that, and then another thing that he said was, if you're, talking to everybody, you're actually talking to nobody, you know, which I just love that too, because, you know, I feel like as coaches, sometimes we try to just put content out there that's going to attract to everybody. How are we going to bring more people, and how are we going to attract to people, when really you should be talking to you? You know, you should be talking to the person that's just like you, that specific avatar, that one mom or that one girl or that one guy that you really, really want to make a connection with, and really hone in on that. I'm telling you, the more specific you get with your content and, you know, just the people that you're adding into your network, the easier it's just going to start to feel, because you're not trying to, you know, sign up every Joe Schmo.
And Alexis, remember when, this is so relevant to this, when Barbie talked last week at Super Saturday, she talked about fear of posting and like getting really specific and being vulnerable and being raw. And so many people, like, she brought this woman up on stage, and it was because she was afraid of, like, she pointed out this one circumstance where she's like, I'm afraid of what my neighbor's gonna think. And Barbie's like no messing around. She's like, does your neighbor pay your bills? You know, and it's like, I thought that was such a good point, is like, we're sitting here behind our computer afraid of what everyone's thinking. They're not paying your bills.
No.
Like that's, and it's not even harsh. It's like just so true. Like, it slapped you in the face, because I do that too. Like, I think I don't want to post this, or I don't want to be vulnerable. I just want to post surfacey because it's easier.
Yes.
So anywho.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I just think that every time that I can just get myself to, you know, and one thing that I do, you guys, with content is if I'm ever feeling like in that mood where like I have a lot to say, or like I feel like I could write a good post, I will just write it in my notes section of my phone, and I kind of have like a running thing. So on the days where I'm like, you know, you just have days where you're like, I don't freaking know what to post, I don't feel like I have anything valuable to give right now, I'll go in my notes, and then I'll have like an awesome written post that I wrote a week prior because I was feeling really, really in the mood, you know. So if you're somebody that struggles with that piece of it, just keep like a Google Doc or a note section of running content that you're, you know, or even if it's just an idea, like you see, use inspiration from other coaches. If you see a coach post like a really cool way of talking about her, you know, struggles or something, you could screenshot it and save it, or write about it in your Google Doc and keep it for a different time. There's nothing wrong with using people as inspiration. You just obviously can't copy what they're doing, because then that's not what's the word? Authentic. Okay, step 4. So invite, which I'm not going to spend too much time on this, because you should know what this is. You have to be inviting. I just can't sugarcoat it. I can't say that, you know, all I can say is that I think attraction marketing is kind of BS. I think that there's very few people out there that can do it and that are good at it. And I think that sometimes as coaches, we see people like, Raina and, you know, Megan Ewaldson, and people that have incredible attraction marketing. And we think, oh, well, clearly people just come to them all day long. Well, yeah, they have built a audience that is specific and that loves them and that will comment. And you have to also remember too, a lot of those people are coaches, you know, that are, so when you see they've got 8,000 comments on something, 5,000 of them are probably Beachbody coaches. But just remember that they got to that point because they were sending invites behind the scenes. You know, I mean, they really did. Nobody ever just made it there by posting really great content on their page. I think that the share piece in the 5 steps is really kind of that cherry on top. Like, that's what's going to make you different and set you apart and kind of tie it in while you're doing those things behind the scenes and actually putting that hard work and hustle in. So invite. So I mean, you know, I think it's different for everybody, but you should be inviting, you know, a minimum of 5 people a day, I think. I sent, man, hold on.
That gal on the Super Saturday video said she just wakes up and sends 20. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. And I would say if you're really trying to excel your business, 20 is a really great place to be. I mean, I tell like my coaches, I have a couple coaches that are like pushing for 2-star right now. 20, I mean, for sure. Because if you do the math, 20 a day is 5 days a week. That's 100 a week. That's 400 a month. I mean, you're going to be probably signing close to 10 people a month if you're talking to 400 people. 10, maybe 15. I don't know. I mean, that's what's crazy when you break it down like that. Like out of 400 people, I think you could sign 10. And that's why so many people forget, like, well, what? I sent 2 invites today. Yeah, you sent 2. Your probability is so low that you're just never even getting that. Like you're never even getting to that tipping point because you're just never talking to enough people. So I don't want to scare you and intimidate you, but I also want you to know that if you have big goals and you have this vision to achieve these large things, you're going to have to do more than 2 a day. I mean, it's just the reality. But when you're in that mindset of this is a gift and I just want to keep on giving it, you know, and I want to get out there and I want to share this gift with other people. I mean, you guys, you have to remember when you're inviting, it's all a mindset thing. It's all a decision. You know, this is something that has helped you transform and has helped you change, but you can't find, you know, 20, 30 minutes in your day to invite 10 to 20 people because why? Because you don't want people to know about something that could change their life. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So if you're not in that headspace, you have to find a way to get there because you should be like, I need to find freaking people that want to do this because I want to give this gift back because it changed my life and I can't keep this to myself. You don't want it. That's selfish, right? So for me, inviting is so much more than just, you know, a script or, you know, and yes, I use scripts and yes, my team has scripts and, you know, yes, I make sure I invite a certain amount a day, but I do it because I know I have to and I want to, and we can't keep this to ourselves. I mean, there are so many people out there, you guys, that are broke, depressed, and overweight. And we have a solution to all 3 of those things. And then follow up. So step 5 is follow up. So invite, follow up. And my follow up system is pretty aggressive because I know that follow up is so crucial. They say that 85% of sales are made in the 6th to 12th contact. 85% of sales are made within the 6th to 12th contact. So if you haven't talked to every single person in your inbox 6 to 12 times, you should probably go do that. And I say that because it is unbelievable to me. Most of my best coaches, best challengers are people that I asked multiple times. I have a diamond that is just killing it right now and I talked to her for a year. You know, so you're not being annoying. It's timing. It is 100% timing. You're not being annoying. You know what I have recently been saying in my follow-ups that has just made it feel so much better is, how do I say it? I basically say, I said I want to keep my word. Like, I want to keep my word. I have to follow up with you. Like, I told you I was going to follow up. Like, because I'll tell them, you know, is it cool if I follow up in a month or something? And then I'll come back and say, I just got to keep my word. I told you I was going to do this. Like, I don't want to bail out on you. And people are like, oh my God, girl, thank you so much, but I'm still not ready. Great. Can I ask you again next month? You know, because it's timing. I mean, that's just really what it is. So add, connect, share, invite, and follow up. We've got about 3 minutes for questions.
I'm gonna upgrade. This is dumb. We need the whole time. So don't. As long as I can get the credit card to go through.
I love it.
We've always had the upgraded one, and I was like, I'll try to. I'm doing Dave Ramsey, so I'm like, I'll try to just do 45 minutes, but I don't want to cut off the time. So as long as I can get this processed.
Okay. I know I can like see it ticking down. I'm like, oh my God.
I know it's really stressful, so I don't want it.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, then we'll have more time for questions. So what questions do you guys have? And, you know, seriously, specific questions. How do I do this? How do I say this? If you need more on invites, I mean, whatever it is, just you tell me. How many people do you usually add a day? I would 20. I'm shooting for 20. But
add 20 a day?
Yeah. I'll be honest. Sometimes Facebook gets a little snappy about it, and they'll say, you know, Alexis, are you adding people that you really know? You know, and it'll kind of like flag me. Some days I get it, some days I don't. The days that I get it, I do stop. I will stop because I'm like, I don't ever want to risk the chance of like them doing anything to me. So I definitely abide by the rules, but I would say about 20. But here's the thing. A lot of them, is it gonna upgrade, Jules?
Yeah, I'm trying, but it keeps saying error. It said less than a minute. Let me at least do this. Let me get a new one so we can jump back on, and then I'll figure out and if you don't see it, I'll try to get it on here, but if not, I'll put it in the call, and please come back on. Let me see if I can get a new one. That was dumb. The thing is, I got on early to like get on early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Why don't we do this? Why don't you go live can you go live in the event?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
Go live in the event. Let's finish the questions, and then I will, and then I'll upgrade the account for next time.
Cool. I'll answer your question, Courtney.
Go over, guys. If you go into Coach Connection into events, you can go there and let's finish up the questions there.
Sounds good.
Bye.